Hey bead babes, welcome back. In this video, we are going to make a very quick and easy beaded necklace using some wood beads. I have them sorted in 2 trays because I've pre-counted them so I don't have to worry about that later. So I've got 60 beads in each tray. Some 6mm fire polish beads, size 6 seed beads, a big eye needle for easy stringing, and some S-Lon cord. This is made out of nylon. It's 0.5mm. We need about 7 feet, so we're going to use our scissors to cut about 7 feet. I'm not a big ruler person, so I do 2 arms length plus a little extra. This is going to be folded in half, so we're obviously not going to be making a 7-foot long necklace. So we're going to fold it in half, and we need quite a bit of extra so we can make a fun tassel at the end. We're gonna string this onto our big eye needle. When you put it in, try not to get your cord stuck in the edges of the needle because it will fray and it'll be hard to pull it through, but we do want to pull it all the way through to the middle of this cord so that our cord is folded in half. We want this cord doubled up. So I'm going to line up the ends and then slide it all the way up to the needle and kind of adjust it when I get to the top, and then it should be there about in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect, but in the middle. Doubling this up keeps it nice and strong. We're gonna start with our 6mm wood beads. I have 60 beads that are gonna go on this side. You can use more, you can use less. I wouldn't use too much less because we aren't gonna be putting a clasp on this. This is gonna be a necklace that has no clasp and just slides right over your head. You can use any beads you like as long as they fit on this needle and on this cord with that cord doubled up. So that's one thing to think about before starting this project, is to make sure that this cord fits inside your beads doubled like this. We're going to go ahead and string all 60 of those beads until we get to the middle. I'm just going to let this play because I find it kind of relaxing, so enjoy. I've got all 60 beads on there, but I just want to double check that there's 60, so I'm going to recount just to be safe in case I miscounted the first time. I don't want to have to, go back or take these beads off, so we're just going to double check before we move on. Alright, all 60 beads are there. Now we're going to start the centerpiece. Starting with a 6mm fire polish, we're going to rotate between the 2 beads. Fire polish, seed bead, fire polish, seed bead, until we've used up all the fire polish beads. Again, you can use any beads you want as long as it fits on the string. I love how the 6mm fire polish looks with the wood, so I thought this was a great design that kind of added a little bit of texture and interest using a faceted bead. The fire polish beads in this project are matte, so are the seed beads. And I've got a lot of really sparkly fire polish, which would look really beautiful contrasting with the more natural wood color. So continue stringing until you've used up all of those fire polish beads. All of our fire polish beads are on there. We're going to end on a fire polish because we did that on the other side. We want it to be symmetrical. And now we're going to string on the other 60 wood beads. All right, we are all done stringing beads. We've got everybody on there. I am going to adjust these a little so that my beads are centered on this cord. I only had like an inch on the side where my needle was, and I need a lot more than that to tie off and make the tassel. So I'm just kind of scooching and adjusting everything so that I have equal amounts of cord on both sides. It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. You just want, enough to tie your knots. So everything looks good and even. Before I can tie my knot, we need to cut off our big eye needle because that part's folded over. Our big eye needle is not going to slide off. So we're just going to snip that off as close to the needle as possible. We're gonna gather up all 4 of these cords and we're gonna tie them all together in one overhand knot. I don't want to do this in a straight line or this will make the necklace really tight and kind of kinked. So I kind of bunch it up a little bit so that it creates a more natural flow when you do tie that knot so that we don't accidentally tie it too tight. So we're doing a basic overhand knot, kind of like you were tying off a balloon. So just tie it around, stick it in and pull. Scooch it gently so that that knot ends up by the beads. If you tighten it too fast, your knot's going to tighten too far away. So you want to gently scooch it to where you want it to be and give it a nice tight pull. Make sure it's not sliding so that it's nice and tight. And then we can create the little tassel. So we've got these 4 extra pieces, and you could, if you don't want to do the tassel, just cut them off. But I think the little tassel's pretty cute. So if you've got a little frayed part, go ahead and stick that big eye needle on there to help you thread your beads and string on 3 seed beads. Take the needle off and we're going to tie this one piece in an overhand knot. So the same knot we did to tie off our necklace, we're going to do an overhand knot, but we're going to do it twice. We need to have a double knot, because our size 6 seed beads have a pretty big hole and will slip off of a single knot. So we're gonna do a double knot just to keep those secure. You can trim off that little excess so you don't have a big tail. And we're gonna continue and do this, repeat this until we've got all 4 tassels. I'm gonna put my needle on this one to string those beads. It is much easier to use the needle, but you can just stick the beads on there without the needle as long as your cord's not frayed, if you are sick of threading your needle. Go ahead and tie that double knot. These can be varying lengths. They don't have to be any specific length. You can have some short ones, some long ones. You can make them all long, you can make them all short, whatever you like. I think it's pretty fun when they're all kind of varying lengths. Obviously, I'm not measuring them. I'm just kind of going for it and letting it be how it's going to be. So we're pretty much finished. All we gotta do is dab a little glue on there. I put it on top of my triangle so that it doesn't mess up my beautiful bead mat. I'm using some Hypo cement. We're gonna dab a little glue on our main knot. And you don't need to squeeze this tube too much because gravity really just kind of lets it all come out. And then I'm gonna dab a smidgen of glue on each of my tiny little tassel knots just to help keep that closed so I don't lose the tassel. We're gonna let this dry for about 10-15 minutes. Resist the urge to touch it because the more you touch this glue, it might get kind of white and foggy. So just don't touch it, put it aside, and we'll come back to it a little later. That's it. Enjoy. You can just pop this on. It's long enough to just go over your head. No need for a clasp. We have tons of different color fire polish beads and wood beads that you can pick from, mix and match however you want, and create your very own unique beaded tassel. tassel necklace. Enjoy! Find us on Instagram at Capital City Beads.